Check 1 2 3. Check check 1 2 3. 7 8 9. Check check 1 2 3. How's everybody doing? Who's it gonna be? Who's gonna be first? What's up, Shady Cola? How you doing? Megs Flex, what's good? We're doing a little Q&A. You guys can ask me whatever you want. That's the goal for tonight's live stream. How you doing, Anuraj? Hola. I've never watched anime, so I don't really know. Estás loco. I don't know what that means, unfortunately. How's everybody doing? I'm back. Thank you, Jeremy. Much appreciated, brother. I appreciate all of you. Have I made a rap music video before? I have not. No, that's a lie. I have. I made one back in second year. I don't have a Phantom 4, but my advice would be to shoot in the flattest picture profile you can, because you want a lot of dynamic range for drone footage. Canadian winter or American summer? I like both. I don't know if I have a preference. I love winter in Canada because I like to play hockey and stuff. I'm not watching anyone's videos today because I want to give you guys a chance to like ask me stuff. It's really late. It's like almost 3 a.m. here, so I just want to chat with you guys for a bit, see how you guys are doing. Yes, Jonas, there's going to be a lot more color grading videos on the way. For sure. Love your videos, been watching whole night. G7X Mark II, want to switch this time for well, if you're looking for 4K and 120 frames per second, I mean, your best bet's the Panasonic GH5. It's a good camera. So I'd recommend that if that's what you're looking for. Well, I mean, you're not going to get 120 frames in 4K. You'll get 60 frames in 4K, which is still really good. D-Log and all the adjustments set to -3. I'm not actually sure because I don't have a Phantom, but I'm sure you're just fine with D-Log, how it comes. Thank you, Jose. Muhammad, no, I never went to film school, just marketing. Did business school for marketing. How long did it take you to be financially stable enough to live on your own from doing freelance full time? I actually don't live on my own. I lived on my own for a while during school because I lived out of town for school, but right now I'm back at my parents' house for the time being and I'm saving up money. I imagine I will move out probably, I don't know, this time next year. I imagine I won't be here anymore. I'll be living somewhere else. Still in Toronto though, but different house, different place. How do I see how many people are in here? I can't even find where I would see that. Oh, I see. 20 people. Very nice. Is there a wide lens more than Sigma 18-35 for A63 and has autofocus? Yes. The Sigma 16mm, which is on my camera right here. Sigma 16mm, great autofocus and really solid manual focus as well. But the autofocus is fantastic and it's a great 16mm. Really love it. What do you use for inspirations every day? Inspiration, I mean, I like to go on YouTube and just see what other people are doing, you know, other creators in my own genre doing similar stuff to me. And I like to I don't know. I watch a lot of videos. Go on social media and watch a lot of stuff. Lens recommendation. It depends what camera you're using. I think everyone needs something wide, like a 16 or even, yeah, 16 is good. And then I think you want something a little bit tighter, like a 30, and then you can get something even tighter than that, like a 50. And those would be like the three that I'd go with. My expectations for the DJI Ronin S, I don't really have expectations. I already have a lot of gimbals, so I don't really need more. I mean, there's already a bunch of reviews on it from DJI, like at the event. When uploading a video to Instagram, how do you keep the quality of the video out of Final Cut Pro 10? What I do is I edit in a 1080 ratio. It's like 1080 by 1350. I export in H.264 and I airdrop it to my phone and upload. And that's the workflow. Tim Simpson, how are you? Is my audio really low? I can turn that up a little bit. I just don't want it to be blown out or anything. Is that any better? Biggest regret in life? That's a tough question. I guess my biggest regret in life is just kind of second guessing myself, not doing the things I wanted to be doing earlier and kind of putting it off to do what I thought would make me happy when it wasn't, if that makes sense. How did I make the white product backdrop behind me? So this right here is, I'm actually going to be doing a whole video on this setup. It's really cheap and it's fantastic for product videos and photos. This is a material called masonite or hardboard, and it's like a flat white finish. I got it at Home Depot, which is kind of like Lowe's, I think people have in the US. You can get it from any hardware store, and it's just a big sheet. I have an IKEA table going on underneath, and yeah, some clamps holding it in place, and then it rolls up, and I just basically taped it to my wall. And that's it. Flogged hog, that's not a appropriate question for the YouTube live stream, but I have a girlfriend of 4 years, if that helps. Would you film in Cine like D with Panasonic cameras if you don't have vlog? I imagine I've heard good things about vlog, so I'd try that. I don't know. I've never used a Panasonic too much and had an opportunity to play around with the picture profile, so I'm not sure. Falai Ananta, how you doing? Falai. Sorry if I'm saying that wrong. Sigma 16 is looking like a 24 and A6. Okay, so I think your question, Muataz, is there's still a crop factor on the 18 to 35. They're both APS-C lenses, so the full frame lenses will always have more frame because they're full frame. What games do I play, if any? I play a little bit of Rocket League every now and then, not too much. Yeah, Cine Shades, I'm not reviewing any videos today just because I've been working all day, so I just want to take this time to like unwind and chat with you guys. My biggest success in life, gosh, I don't know. I think my biggest accomplishment that I'm most proud of is finishing university. And I'm 23 years old. Keep the questions coming, everybody. Easy way to shape hardboard is to put steam upon the outside of the bend. That is true. Luckily, this sheet is so long that it's very flexible. It just bent on its own, and it's not wrinkling or anything. Buying first camera, which should I go with? T6i? And which lens do I need for video production? Your first camera, I mean, T6i is good. If like you have no experience, it's a really good camera to learn on, but I think if you're really gonna get into video, you're gonna learn very fast and outgrow your T6i in a year. That's my personal opinion. I've seen it happen over and over again. Like that is contingent on if you actually take making videos seriously and you really progress a lot. Have you ever played with an A6500? This right here is my Sony A6500. I sold my A6300. Now I'm using an A6500. So to answer your question, yes. Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera still worth it? I'm not really sure. I did some research on them like a year ago, but I was like, no, this isn't really my thing, so I didn't really look back. Do you make videos full-time right now, and if so, to support you living on your own and everything? So, someone asked a similar question before. I currently don't live on my own. I used to during school. Now I'm living with my parents just for the time being, saving up some money. I do make videos full-time, and the amount of income I'm making right now between like all the work I do for various clients and repeat clients, I theoretically could rent an apartment, but I don't want to. I'd rather save my money and eventually buy a place. That would be the ideal situation. Is the Canon 700D good? Yes. Next travel destination, I'm going to Florida not long from now. I go to Florida a lot. I was just in New York a few weeks ago for a client, and I'm likely going to LA not long from now. So, oh, Felipe, so I bought an A7S II and returned it the next day because I was like, this is a huge waste of money. The A7S II, unless you're... Honestly, like for me, it just made no sense. The A7S II. Did not need that camera at all. I was like, I'd rather get that extra $2,000 back and use an A6500 because the A6500 has image stabilization. It has the touch autofocus, and it works great with native lenses like the Sigma lenses, the 30 and the 16. So I didn't really see the point in spending all that money on full frame. Which should you get? 77D, and also please tell me which lens I got. I don't know. You have to do your research. I'm not too familiar with shooting video on Canon. Zhiyun Crane or Feiyu? Definitely Zhiyun Crane. Blackmagic. That's interesting, Tim. What superpower would I have? Probably like the ability to like control time, freeze time, go back in time, things like that. That'd be cool. Recommendations: cheap lens for Sony. Yes. This right here is a Samyang, or other known as Rokinon, 12mm. If you want a cheap wide angle, go on your local buy and sell app in your area, whether that's Craigslist or Kijiji or whatever, and look for this lens. It's 12mm for Sony E-mount. It's a manual lens, and it's fantastic. The quality for the price is really good. I've been loving it. From a Panasonic G7 in the future, should I upgrade to the GH4 Plus lens or GH5? How far in the future are we talking? Because by that point, the GH5 will perhaps drop in price. I'd say go for the GH5. That would be my advice. How long did it take to build the clientele you have now? Almost a year. I mean, I've been doing freelance in the summers a lot, like previously. So I'll tell you guys like a little bit about my background in freelancing. When I was in high school and even early university, in the summers, I wouldn't work during the year. I just focused on school. But in the summers, I had a friend who had a photography company. and he already had a client base because of his photos. He started offering videos for his clients, and he would bring me to go do the videos, and he'd basically teach me how to talk to the clients and stuff. And I mean, I didn't make good money. I made like, I don't know, like $100 for each video, which wasn't terrible at that time, but that's sort of how I learned. And then when I finished university back in April, that's when I actually started like my own freelancing business. So I haven't even been doing it for a year, and it's going really well. And I think that's just because I've been extremely persistent and I've worked extremely hard. But there's always room to work harder. Tim Simpson says, yeah, you're right. Sorry. I can't remember what you're referring to because I'm kind of behind in the comments because I'm trying to read everyone. I agree. I wish there were more hours in the day for sure. Lens for A6300. Look at Sigma lenses for sure. Oh, what are my spec predictions for the A7S III? I don't think I have predictions, but I have hopes. You know, you look at what Panasonic is doing, and you got to think Sony is going to have an answer to that, right? So what I'm hoping for is 4K with 10-bit color with the option to shoot in 60 frames per second. Obviously the same low light sensor, low light full frame sensor that has that can basically see in the dark, which is totally unnecessary, but I imagine that'll still be the case. Of course, IBIS will be there. And what else? I'm not really sure. I just think the main thing is I want to see in the A7S III is 10-bit 4K 60 frames. And then maybe like it'd be cool to have 180 frames in 1080. That would be interesting. But who knows? It's all speculation. Definitely get the 16 if you have the 30. I think it's better to have 2 primes than to have a zoom lens. Primes generally are sharper, and also those lenses, the 16 and 30, are native, so if you wanted to, you could use autofocus. And especially with a 16, the manual focus is just as good as a manual lens. It's almost as good. If I could be the cinematographer of any movie, which would it be? I don't know. That's a hard question, but I really love watching like the behind the scenes of Michael Bay. It's crazy the stuff they do. Any plan to come to Japan soon? Not immediately, but maybe eventually. Tips for growing a YouTube channel: make content that you enjoy making and be consistent. That's the 2 main things. Have a good night, Film Play. Thanks for joining. Yeah, Felipe, that's the way to go, man. You gotta get experience somehow, and if it means going under someone's wing and having them teach you stuff, that's a great way to get exposed to the industry. Looking to get a light for YouTube videos. I'm looking at the Westcott Flex or Aperture 120. Here's the thing. The Westcott Flex is amazing, and it is so versatile and durable, and you can do so many things with it. However, I think with the 120D, you just have, I think it's a more reliable light just in terms of the quality, and like if you need to shoot something that looks professional, like the 120D with a light dome will just look fantastic. The Westcott Flex, I feel like it's harder. You can't mount anything to it really. It's hard to do modifiers unless you get those like brackets and stuff, and at that point you're just rigging up a light, and you might as well just have gotten the 120D for that kind of money, you know? That's just my opinion though. It's all subjective. Advice that I would give myself now looking back 2-3 years ago. Oh, okay, so advice I would give myself 2-3 years ago. I think the main thing when I think about like when I was younger, I'm 23 now, and I think of things like, you know, when I was 20, and how so many things seemed like a big deal when it really wasn't, and just like having my mind consumed with stuff that didn't even matter. I just tell myself to relax, just enjoy it and do what I want to do. Built-in ND filter in the A7S III, that would be interesting. I don't know, because once you start doing that, you're really getting into like the cinema world, right? So I'm not sure. That'd be cool. Traveling to New Zealand, no immediate plans. That'd be cool though. Dubai would be epic. Do I ever sleep? Rarely. I really don't sleep very much. I should definitely be sleeping more. Yusuf, what's up, buddy? Good to see you in here. What is your advice on people asking for raw footage? I find it super annoying and somewhat insulting. I realize some agencies would do that and I'd be okay to do it. That's happened to me. I'm trying to think. I can remember one time off the top of my head. I'm trying to remember if there was another time. The biggest nuisance about it is the fact that the files are so big, and just transferring them, it's like, okay, now I can't use my computer because it's sitting there transferring files and it's destroying my internet. What I ended up doing when a client asked for raw files is I just put them all in a USB and I mailed it to them. I went to Canada Post and I mailed it to them. So people ask, what would you know what, I don't really know, because I guess you got to make the customer happy. Like the way I always look at it is that the customer comes first. If that's what they want, that's what they want. You know, maybe if you find that happening a lot, I'd say beforehand, like, you're paying for an edit. Like, if you want me to give you raw footage, it's gonna be extra or something like that. I don't know. It's a tricky thing. It doesn't happen to me too often, but it has happened to me for sure. What also, don't take it personally. Some people are just I don't know, they have a different vision. What about when you have no more ideas of videos to make? Happens all the time, and to that I say, one way I keep my content fresh and I keep my creativity going is I've given up on trying to do things like go to the park or go to a forest and things like that. I like to shoot with a purpose. So oftentimes I'll just like call up local businesses or walk into stores, little restaurants and stuff, and I'll just be like, hey, can I shoot a video for you? They'll go, sure. I'll like show them like an Instagram of something I made and they're like, yeah, sure. And then I have content that I can use for my YouTube channel or use for my social media. If you guys saw my video about shooting cinematic sequences, the one with the motorcycle, that I just did for free. My buddy was doing photos for this guy, told me that he builds motorcycles in his garage, and I was like, we're going there and I'm shooting a little cinematic sequence for sure. So that's my advice, is you have to make content for yourself. You can't just expect it to happen when you're just sitting at home scratching your head. What type of clients do you usually work with? Corporate, fashion, small business, etc. All of the above, but mostly marketing related, mostly things to do with selling products or services, a lot of small business stuff, but sort of transitioning out of small businesses and working more for like brands. That's like what I'm transitioning into. What do you think is the best for traveling video? 18-105 f4 or 30 1.4? Okay, well, those lenses are completely different, right? Obviously, the 18-105 will be a little bit more versatile because of the varying focal length. Keep in mind, having a 1.4 means you'll be able to shoot in low light a lot nicer as opposed to f4. But I'd say if you had to pick between those two lenses as just like one lens for traveling, I guess the 18-105. Because I think, I don't know, it depends. It depends on your shooting style. For sure. When shooting a MV, What factors do you take into budget and price for client? Things I take into consideration when shooting a video for a client and pricing it. I think about what gear do I need to bring? Do they need audio? Do I need to mic someone up? Do I need to bring my mic? Do I need to start bringing light stands? Do I have to bring my light? Like things like that. Or do I just need my camera? How long is the final video? How long will it take to edit? I can usually get a pretty good gauge in my head of how long a video will take to edit when I discuss the concept with them. And how many hours of filming. And that's pretty much the criteria. Were you the coolest kid at school? Definitely not. By grade 12, I was like never at school. I ditched school a lot to go skateboarding. And like I didn't really have many friends in high school. All my friends were outside of my high school. I hated my high school. Just build a new studio space for your daughter's channel for under 200. That's awesome, Tim. That's really cool. I'd love to see a video of that studio space. I graduated from the University of Guelph, majoring in marketing management. Andy Tran, you got a 120D and it doesn't seem to come out looking as nice. Is it due to ambient light in the background? Are you using a light dome? That's a very important factor. If you're just like shining the beam, excuse me, the beam on your face, it'll be really harsh. So you need a light dome. I currently own a Nikon D5200 with a basic kit lens. I'm into both photo and video. I need an upgrade on a budget. Which camera? 450 to 600. Panasonic G7. That's my recommendation. Muhammad, I didn't really ditch school. Like just in grade 12, I just skipped class a lot. I don't regret it because I still had really good marks and I went to university and everything went fine. Hello, really loved your videos. Wondering about that humble giveaway. The giveaway happened on my Instagram. The winners were announced like 5 days ago or something. Okay, so Andy, you have the aperture light dome. So what I usually do is with my camera, I can't even talk anymore. I'll set my shutter speed to 1/50th. I'll set my aperture to maybe f2. And then I will put my ISO to something like 200. Usually, yeah, 200 is usually pretty good. And then I'll put the light like a little bit more than my arm's length away from me on that kind of angle, tilted down at me, and I'll use the remote and adjust it looking at my monitor to see until how bright it needs to be so that I'm lit evenly. Tim Simpson asks, cheap, effective lighting for video example being shot now. Oh, true. Oh, you're telling me that you are shooting a cheap. That's cool, man. Shady Cola, I don't really charge per hour. The way I look at it nowadays is if I'm going to be doing a video for someone and I build my business off of repeat clients and relationships. If this is a client where I can tell like they just want me to come shoot like a one-time thing and I'm never going to see them again, I don't even take the job unless I'm making at least $400. Otherwise, that amount of time spent, I could be doing other stuff. That's just like sort of over time, that's like the amount that I've discovered is like what I need to be making on a video at the very minimum for it to be worth my time. So it's not really a per hour thing. I look at it as like if I'm there for less than 4 hours, I would charge at least $400. And then if I'm there for more than 400 hours, then it would definitely be more than $400. Sorry, I'm having a hard time talking right now. I'm pretty tired. Do I have any experience with the Panasonic G7? If so, what lens would you recommend that doesn't break the bank? To be honest, I don't really have any experience with the G7. I've just watched a lot of videos on it. I'd watch, go to DSLR Video Shooters channel, Caleb Pike. He'll have a perfect answer for you for sure. Shooting video on the A7R III, 16 to 35 f4, tossing up between getting a 2470 or using the money to buy a couple of primes. Go for the primes. Definitely go for the primes. Sorry, I was just deleting some hate spam. If I could interview anyone past or present, who would it be? That I don't know. I don't think I have a good answer off the top of my head. I'll come back to that. I need to think about that. First lens for the A6300, I'd go for the Sigma 16mm or the Sigma 30mm. Probably the 30mm. I prefer the 16mm, but I think you kind of need something tighter than that. It depends on what you're filming, but either the 16 or the 30. Yeah, I'm definitely more of a videographer than I am a photographer. I like to take photos for fun, but I don't even like my work doesn't involve photography at all. Like I don't do any photos for clients or anything. Vapid Coffee, what's good, buddy? How you doing? Number 15, Burger King foot lettuce. The last thing you want to find in your Burger King burger is someone else's foot fungus. As it turns out, that might be what you get. Interesting. Why does your voice sound so professional? Did you practice for it or get training? I've been told in the past that people always say that I sound like I could be on radio, which I don't really hear personally, but I think I got it from my dad being like just my manner of speaking and the way I enunciate and articulate my words is probably from him. Andy, I can't really remember off the, like right now my light is set to 55 right now. But I don't know if that stays the same when I don't really check. I just use my eye when I'm looking at the monitor, just what looks good in that moment. Mr. Lumixia, I considered switching to Panasonic for a while. I was really considering the GH5 or the GH5S. But I ultimately decided that I'm already so used to Sony and I've like invested in Sony stuff, so I'm just kind of chilling with Sony for now until some other brand really blows me away. Right now, to make this stream, I'm using OBS as the streaming software with the Logitech C922 webcam, the Rode NTG4 Plus shotgun microphone, and the Aperture 120D light with the Westcott Rapid Box light dome. My favorite TV show is... Oh, I have a couple. Okay, so I really like That 70s Show. Really like Breaking Bad. I liked the first half of Dexter until it went to absolute garbage. Prison Break was good. But Breaking Bad and That 70s Show. And Family Guy. I can't get enough of Family Guy. I find it just too ridiculous. Do I have a drone? No, I do not. I had a DJI Mavic Air in my shopping cart. Almost checked out and then I didn't, just because the drone laws where I live are so strict that I was just like, I don't know, it's not worth it. Canon or Sony? It's all personal preference, but I personally use Sony, but that can change any day if Canon comes out with something that I think is better. Best lens for A7R2 for video. I don't know. Like, you'd have to look into, do you want manual lenses or native lenses? You have to do your research. I like having a crop frame camera because I just like APS-C lenses. They're cheaper. There's more cheap, affordable options that are still really high quality and native that work with autofocus and things like that. Rafi, thank you so much. It's from Urban Outfitters. No problem, Andy. Enjoy your homework, Mohammed. How did I get into filmmaking? I used to make skateboard videos. I would skateboard with my buddies and we'd film each other doing tricks. That's when I got a camera, and then I fell in love with cameras and making videos. I haven't seen the show Atlanta. The Flash, I actually watched, I think, the first 3 seasons of The Flash, and then it just started getting like too stupid for me. No offense, just for me, like I was like, this is getting like the meta-human thing started getting repetitive, and then after there was like, I can't remember what happened. There was like another universe or something, and I was like, I don't know, they kind of lost me at one point. No, Dexter, as in Dexter, like the show about serial killers. Best focal length for street and candid. Probably a 50. I'd personally love to see you in one of Peter McKinnon's videos, Same City and All. I'm actually in the background of one of his videos when he did his talk at Free Space? Creative Space? I can't remember. I think it's called Free Space. He had like for his birthday, it was like his birthday party / talk thing he did here in Toronto. I was there, and you can like see me for a second in the background in the crowd. I'm like at the very back. I've met Peter McKinnon like twice, but he's like kind of on another level. When I was talking to him, I was just kind of like, yeah, like I don't think he'd be interested in collabing with me. I'm not really at his threshold. The cap is from Urban Outfitters. What do I think of JR Ali? I've met JR. He's a nice guy. He's cool, and he's got really good skills. Mac or PC, and why? Mac, because I just prefer the interface. I grew up on PC and then switched to Mac when I went to high school, and I just haven't looked back. I just prefer Apple. Just everything's more where it should be, it feels like. Everything's just like clean and works, and everything's fast. Take my name, Akshay Hiwali. Dude, you're dope. Keep up the good vids. Thank you, Jacob. Much appreciated. You're dope also. How do you make voiceovers in Final Cut? I just record a voiceover either into my camera or into my Zoom H5, and then I import it. I don't use like the recording tool in Final Cut. What superpower would I like to have? I think I answered that earlier. Like the ability to like freeze time or rewind time. Like, I think it would be so cool to time travel to the time where, like, Apple's stock costed nothing, or, like, Bitcoin, like, was just invented, and just, like, make a ton of money or something. Like, and also, like, stop, like, catastrophic events and, like, be, like, the smartest person in the world because you can predict the future. That'd be awesome. Have you used a Sigma 18-35? Yes, I have. It's a good lens. Do you think I should wait for the A7S III or should I get the GH5? I opted to, so I had an A6300. I got an A7S II and then returned it to get the A6500 instead, and I'm waiting for the A7S III. So if you're using Sony right now, I'd wait for the A7S III because I think it'll be better than the GH5. I don't see why Sony would come out with a camera that's not as good, or at least better than the GH5. Would it make sense? Which lens should I use for real estate commercial? with the Edelkrone slider. Either a 16 mil or wider. I think you don't want to be any more narrow than a 16 mil. I mean, 24 in full frame would be fine. But you're using A6300, so yeah, 16 mil. You could probably get away with 18, but 16 is probably best. Will you make videos on Android phone cinematography? Maybe one day. Right now I'm using an iPhone, so I don't even have an Android, but perhaps. I hope you're aiming for 100K this year. Definitely doable if you keep pushing content. Yeah, everyone says it's doable, but my numbers aren't really growing at that rate. I mean, that would be cool and all, but my goal isn't based on numbers. Like, my goals for myself have nothing to do with views or subscribers. I just want to, like, I have personal goals, like how much I want to be uploading and where I want my life to, like, be. And what I want to be doing, you know? So, like, the numbers aren't really a huge factor for me. I do it for the love of it, you know? Like, this stream I'm doing right now is for fun. Like, I enjoy doing this. I enjoy making videos and putting them on YouTube, and I enjoy teaching you guys and learning from you guys and interacting with you guys. It's fun. Real fun. Prime or zoom for an everyday lens, and if prime, which focal length? Definitely prime, and I think it's good to have 2 primes. I use a 16 and a 30. I also have a 12, but I think 16 and 30 are like my 2 go-tos. I also have a 58. But yeah. Do you think filmmakers now really have talent or a lot of money? Because you get literally everything online. Transitions, the LUTs, your thoughts. Filmmakers definitely have, there's people who still have talent. I think you can tell by watching someone's video if they're talented or if I don't think it's a matter of having money. I think just some people have a misconstrued idea of what a good video is. I mean, the amount of videos I see that are like my year 2017 Sam Colder inspired, and it's like a bunch of really not well done footage with a bunch of zoom transitions and RGB blurs and luma fades and stuff that are just preset transitions, but the footage is crap. So it's just kind of like, just because you have like crazy transitions doesn't make a video good. The reason why Sam Colder's videos are sick have nothing to do with transitions. That was his style, and everyone's like stolen it essentially. But what made Sam Colder's videos good was the fact that he's a really good cinematographer and has great footage. Also the locations, the setting, the story of his videos were great. Devin asks, are you a car guy? Kind of, like, I dabble a little bit. I used to be a bit more, and then I kind of got over it. I became like a camera guy. Like I'm really into 2 things. I'm into hockey and I'm into making videos. Those are like the 2 things I really care about. I used to be more into cars, but not so much anymore. I drive a Jetta. It's a good Jetta though. Hey dude, I need help. I have a channel based on cars and modifying cars. Struggling to film steady footage whilst driving the car like interview style. My Rona is too big to sit with. Look at like a handheld, like a smaller, like pistol grip style gimbal or something. Like a Zion crane or something like that if you want to go that route. Or get some kind of like suction cup mount to put the camera like on the window or something. A7R is more for photographers and the A7S is more for videographers. The mic I'm using right now is a Rode NTG4 Plus shotgun. Yes, absolutely, do it for the love of it. Experiences with film cameras. I've never used like a film video camera. I've used like film photography cameras. They're a lot of fun, very expensive to develop. Your video's making me... Thanks, Cine Shades, I appreciate it. Keep up the good work. Film play, I actually don't have a drone. Yeah, I cover all my expenses with freelancing, and lately YouTube has actually been helping as well. I drift the Jetta in the winter for sure, but keep that on the low key. But I don't like The Jetta's not like powerful enough to actually drift it on concrete on the road. You need snow here, like here in Canada. Do I do weddings? No, I don't. I mean, a lot of my tutorials that I'm going to be doing and have done and will continue to do are still applicable, and even like a video I was shooting tonight will have a concept that's definitely applicable for wedding stuff. I personally do not shoot events of any sort because my area of expertise is in marketing and selling. So that's the kind of stuff I do. I am from Toronto, Canada. No problem, Akshay. What should you film when nobody has time to come with you? Message retracted. I was kind of touching on that earlier. You can do, show up at local businesses and stuff and just like offer to make a video for them. Say, hey, do you mind if I just like film you guys making a pizza, putting the toppings on, putting it in the oven, and then slicing it, and then say I'll make a little Instagram video. I love doing stuff like that. Thanks, Corrupted Coder. It's not that I have anything like against filming weddings. It's just, it's not it's a lot of work and stress, and this is not what I feel like it's not what I'm good at. When you do marketing projects, do you develop the vision or does the client? It's usually a team effort. Can we collab and drift the Jetta? Absolutely. Devin, are you from Toronto? But collabing and drifting the Jetta sounds like a plan. You ever drifted a 2-liter 4-cylinder Jetta? How do I start making promotions for small businesses? Should I work for free? And when should I stop working for free? If you don't have any work in your portfolio for small businesses, definitely try to do a couple things for free, build a portfolio, and then you have something to show people. Watch my video on how to get clients, and I go more in depth into that there. So what do you think about shooting Instagram ad for shops? Is that enough for getting money, or I have to do something else? I mean, it's a good thing about freelancing. The way you have to look at it is you're going to be working really, really hard, and you're going to have a lot of uncertainty if you just continue to like do a lot of one-off projects. Focus on building relationships. I'll give you guys an example. Real estate videos. When I started freelancing, I was like, okay, one of the things I'll get into is making real estate videos, meaning house tours, right? I'm sure you guys are familiar with those videos where you just have the camera on a slider showing the different rooms and things like that, showing off the house. When I first started doing those, I would charge like between $350 to like $650 for a video. It depended like on the size of the house, and like there were all these factors because like a lot of the houses were like really fancy houses, and I would be like, all right, I'll do it for this much because the house is this big, it'll take me this long, whatever. I got to a point where I realized the amount of time spent looking for the jobs and communicating with the clients and all that was just way too tedious for the amount of money I was making, and I was wasting my time when I could have been doing other stuff to make money. So what I actually ended up doing, and this completely happened by coincidence, a company in Toronto that already has they already have a company. They didn't do videos, but they did photos, brochures, feature sheets, floor plans, virtual tours. They did all these services for houses, for real estate, and they had a big database of customers and existing clients and realtors. So they emailed me and said that they saw my work and they were like, would you be interested in teaming up? basically you would do all the video content for us, and all you'd have to do is show up to the houses, film the house, go home, edit it, and send it to us. That's all you have to do. You don't have to talk to the client. You don't have to worry about going and getting the job. We literally will just text you and put in your schedule when you need to be there. And I was like, yeah, cool. I've been doing that, and it's been fantastic because I show up to the condo or the house, I walk in with my camera, I set up my slider, I get all the shots I need, I leave, I edit the video, and that's it. And each one, instead of making that like whatever amount, $350 I was making before, now it's only $180. But the difference is I'm spending way less time and I'm doing lots of them. Sometimes I'll do like 5, 6 houses in 1 week. And sometimes they're not even houses, sometimes they're condos. Sometimes they take half an hour. The most since I've been working with this company doing these real estate videos, the most time I've ever spent in a house was like not even 2 hours. And then to edit these things, I edit them in like 25 minutes because it's so simple. I bring in a song, I bring in all the clips, and I just chop it up to the music, export it. I don't have to find music because I use the same songs every time. I have like 5 that I rotate through, and it works great. So yeah, I'll do like my own work. I'm concentrating on my own stuff, spending all my time on my own business. And then every now and then they're like, hey, we've got some houses we need you to film. Great. I show up, make quick few $100s, and that's it. But look for those kinds of things when you're freelancing. Look for like repeat things you can do instead of just like kind of crossing your fingers and hoping someone reaches out. What do you do to stay fit? I'm going to start making stuff on a regular basis. What do you mean by stay fit? Like literally like fitness? I play a lot of hockey. I play hockey like 3 times a week. I go to the gym. Nothing crazy. I have no desire to be like some buff person. I actually used to be. Last summer I was in like pretty good shape. Now I'm just kind of like, eh. I want to start recording tutorials for video editing, but I feel like I'm not confident enough. Did you just watch other tutorials and learn stuff to learn and kind of go off of that? Yes. So if you watch like some of my older videos, you'll notice that my like presence on camera and my tone is always very different. Like in some videos I'm yelling and I'm like really animated, and then in some I'm like very chill and laid back. So you have to kind of like get a feel for what your personality is, and eventually you get used to it. You just have to like start doing it over and over and over until you get the hang of it. When did you start videography? When did you get... I started like actually doing this full time when I finished school, like in April. That's when I like decided I was going to do this. Life's good, tech devoted. Thanks for asking. I must add to my last question, what should I film when nobody has time to come with me? I meant that I would like to try and film more of a lifestyle thing, something just for my own to boost creativity. I mean, that's up to you. That's part of the creative process, right? Coming up with like what you're gonna film. You have to see what's around you. You have to look around and use what you have at your disposal. Do you edit the color on all your footage? Yeah, I manually color grade all my footage. I often will export my manually made color grades. I'll export them as a LUT and I'll reuse that LUT. Do you go to school? I finished school back in April. I went to University of Guelph for marketing management. 16 1.4 A6300 vlogging style. Would I recommend it? You're probably better off with a 12mm or even the Sony 10-18. Corrupted Coder, thanks for joining. Have a wonderful evening. Would I recommend the Canon 5D Mark IV? It looks really nice. The footage looks great, but for the amount of money that camera costs, and it doesn't have does it have 4K? I can't even remember. Does that camera have 4K? can't remember. Does 5D Mark IV have 4K? I know it has like 1080 60. I have an A6500. Yeah, so yeah, I don't think the 5D Mark IV has. No, it has like it has 4K, but it's like it's not real 4K or something. Let's see, 5D Mark IV 4K. Yeah, okay, so the 5D Mark IV does have 4K, but it's like if you want to shoot 60 frames, you got to do that in 1080. I don't know, it just seems like a lot of money and the screen doesn't flip out or anything. So I didn't really balance school and videography. I was like full on into school and that was it. I only like really started, like I would do videos and stuff in the summers. I'd make like videos during the year for fun, but I didn't have time to like do client stuff while I was at school. Yeah, I can do more videos about techniques and stuff. You could still buy the 10 to 18 with an adapter and have enough money to buy lots of ice cream. That was funny. Because it's probably just the quality of glass, the build quality of the lens, the autofocus quality. So did you getting big jobs if you have a professional video camera? I mean, no, it doesn't matter like how big your camera is because at the end of the day, you're gonna get the job based on your work. People are gonna look at the stuff you've done and if they like it, they'll hire you, and if they don't, they won't. You can have a red camera, but if what you show them doesn't appeal to them, they're not gonna be interested. I color grade all my footage and sometimes I'll export it as a LUT. Why am I still up? I don't know. I shouldn't be. I think I'm gonna go to bed in a minute. Color grading program for Final Cut, Get Color Finale Pro. That is the go-to. What differentiates me from other filmmakers and cinematographers? I was actually talking to someone about this today, and I think what separates me from a lot of other videographers, like particularly like in Toronto and the people that I guess you could consider my competition, is that a lot of videographers in the freelance world don't think about the marketing aspect. Having gone to school for marketing and having a degree in marketing, I understand like what needs to go into a video that's intended to market a product or service. So you have to have the ability to take the creative part of your brain and sort of block it out and take a step back and be like, how do I make this video an effective tool to get customers to want to come here and buy the stuff, right? So that's like sort of my skill, is like it's not always about just creative and how good the footage looks. It has a lot to do with just how the video is thought out. Dual pixel autofocus is the best in classmate. Sony's not nearly as good. Yeah, but you were talking about lenses, not sensors. Best two Sony full frame primes. I don't really know. I'm not familiar with full frame lenses because I don't have a full frame camera. The banana neon sign is from Urban Outfitters. Yeah, I still use Color Finale. I tried out the new Final Cut Update color stuff and it's not even comparable. Color Finale is still far better. I don't like Final Cut's built-in stuff. Color Finale is just like so much more control. Video games? No, not really, aside from like Rocket League once in a while on Xbox. I have a problem that everyone's telling me that I have a huge future in filming and stuff, but yeah, the thing about YouTube's a funny thing, growing a channel on YouTube. It's not always about like how good a cinematographer you are, but it's how good are you able to brand yourself? You know what I mean? Like, look at Peter McKinnon, the success of his channel. It's not just because he's really good at making videos. There are tons of YouTubers out there who are way better videographers than Peter McKinnon, but no one's ever heard of them because you go to their channel and there's no branding, there's no theme, there's no, you don't know who they are, right? So Peter McKinnon, you know he likes coffee, you know he goes, "What's up guys, Peter McKinnon here," and you know he says he mobs around on the snowmobile, and you just like, he's a Canadian dude, he's got like a brand, you know? You can like identify Peter McKinnon in your mind, and like, you know what he's like, you feel like you know him, right? So that's like the key to like having success on YouTube, is to sort of have that appeal, which, I mean, I've been trying to work on. I'm trying to show my personality in my videos more. Right now, you guys probably aren't getting a very like authentic look at what my personality's like in this stream because I'm so tired. It's like 4 a.m. Tech devoted. So I bought an A7S II and I put it in my story. I tried it out and I returned it the next day and got the A6500 instead. Jeff David King, watch my video on how I get clients. But what I would do is I'd build a portfolio. I do a really good PK. A really good Peter McKinnon. My slogan? I don't really have a slogan. There's like things I notice that I say in all my videos that isn't on purpose. Like, I noticed that I end all my videos the same way. Have a good night, Felipe. I always say things like, I hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful. If you did, then please hit it with a thumbs up. Do not forget to subscribe and leave a comment down below letting me know what videos you'd like to see in the future. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. Like, that's what I say at the end of all my videos, pretty much, or some variation of that. And like, I don't think that was on purpose. It just kind of became a habit. I don't know if that's considered like branding myself, but I don't know if I like have a slogan. I don't think you necessarily need a slogan, but I mean, people are starting to like identify me with that neon banana. So I feel like that might be kind of my thing, you know? Or like the champion hoodies that I wear in all my videos. There's like little things that I think people sort of resonate with my style. Use your name. If you're just one person, use your name. I made a company name because I wanted to make sure I was using, because I really liked the name and I didn't want someone to steal it. So I just started using it for myself because I eventually have plans of things I want to do with that company name, that brand name. Am I into coffee? I used to be. I try not to drink it. I try to avoid caffeine, but I love coffee. I love the taste of coffee. I had a caffeine problem, so I had to fix that. I used to drink like 3 Red Bulls a day. Good monitor for editing. I'm using like a Samsung monitor. I'm not sure which one it is. Just go to like your local electronics store or something and see what they got. You don't have to be like too picky. Alright guys, I think I'm gonna pass out. Thank you so much for joining the stream and asking me questions. That was fun. I hope you guys learned something, or at least were entertained for a little while. I like interacting with y'all, so that was great. I'm gonna call it here. Yeah, Ryan. So like if you watch like some of my older videos, you'll even notice that like I kind of picked up like some of Peter McKinnon's mannerisms. Not anymore. But like in my first videos, cuz I guess subconsciously kind of aspired to be like him. So it was sort of coming out in the way I was like talking. I was like, "What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about this," and that kind of tone isn't how I naturally speak, right? That's kind of Peter McKinnon-y, and I was kind of doing that. It wasn't on purpose, but it was just because I was uncomfortable on camera, and I wasn't comfortable being myself yet. But now I feel like I am, you know? But back then it was just the way it happened. So yeah, watch some YouTubers and just try and find your voice, you know? Get comfortable on camera. It takes time, but you'll get there. Favorite music producer? I have like favorite artists, but I don't have like a favorite producer. I don't listen to like EDM electronic stuff really. I used to, not anymore. I'm not really familiar with the SL2, so I can't really comment. I listen to a bunch of stuff. I like rap, hip hop, indie, good variety. No, talk to them directly. Don't put money into making ads. Not at this stage. Have a good night, Jeff. Thank you for joining. Yeah, Ryan, I'm exhausted. I'm running on fumes. I'm so tired. Best camera under $1,000, probably the Panasonic G7. But good night, everybody. I gotta go. I'm turning the stream off. I'm going on my bed and I'm passing out. That's what's happening right now. All right. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you again. See you guys in the next one.